I love gratitude practice. If someone doesn't already have a gratitude practice, I'm obsessed with my daily 5-minute journal. I do 3 minutes in the morning and 3 minutes at night. So I do my gratitude practice every single day, and I'm grateful for so much. I'm grateful to be here on this podcast. I'm grateful for my business. I'm grateful for my boyfriend and my dog and my family and my home and the food on my table. There is so much to be grateful for. Even on the worst day, there's something to be grateful for.
Stay connected to gratitude. Hit the follow button right now and join thousands of listeners tuning in each week. We're the Gratitude Seekers. Come join us. Hi, Gratitude Seeker. Welcome to a new episode of the Gratitude Podcast. Our guest from today is a certified health and nutrition coach, fitness coach, and founder of Complete by Caitlyn. Her name is Caitlyn Spears, and we will have a really engaging and powerful conversation about health, about holistic health, and the appreciation that we have for our bodies. Caitlyn, welcome to the Gratitude Podcast.
Hi there. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm really excited to be here, excited to have this conversation, and excited for everybody to listen in and hopefully get some value out of this episode.
Excellent. Thank you for being here with us. And I'm really looking forward to having this wonderful conversation. And I'm really curious where it will actually take us. So let's start a little bit with your story. I know that at age 18, you had an experience that took you to a different path.
Yeah.
And if you would be so kind to start with that, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go a little further back and just introduce myself. I'm Caitlyn Spears. I actually grew up my entire life, 18 years, in a really small town, Wilburton, Oklahoma, a population about 2,500 people. And at 18, I'd been scouted to be a model. And then I had also been scouted by the producers of America's Next Top Model, which, if you don't know the show, at that time, 10 years ago, the show was like killing it. It had 15, 20 seasons, and it was just a really cool thing that I myself, from a town of 2,500 people, never thought I would have the opportunity to be a part of. And so when the opportunity presented itself, I was really excited, obviously. 18 years old, small town, ready to leave, break out, do my thing. And I did months of this casting process, months of Zooms, meeting with different producers, different casting directors, and only to come to find out at the end of that journey, they were going to cut me right before filming would start. And so at 18, you have this scenario in your head that everything's about to take off. I just thought all my dreams were about to come true. And then just like that, they were gone. They emailed me letting me know that unfortunately they were going to cut me before filming started, and that their only word to me was they wanted me to work on my body and then try again next season. And I think that's stuck with me for the past 10 years, because what does that even mean? That can mean so many things to so many different people. And at 18 years old, my confidence just went to the ground. I never realized that what one person told me, the words of one person or one company or one organization, could affect me so deeply. But it did. For years, what they said to me had an impact on who I was and how I lived my life. And that was really hard. But I will say that without going through all of that painful rejection, going to my deepest, lowest point of my life, not knowing how I'm going to get up, and then finally standing back up on my own 2 feet has brought me exactly where I'm at today on this podcast, in my business, in my life. And I'm so grateful to be here.
Right. I love how you took the story from that moment in the past, from that really low point to actually appreciating where it took you and where you are right now, and the fact that you are able to speak about that experience and to actually be grateful for the fact that um, you were able to see it from a different point of view, and
Yeah.
you are able to be grateful for the journey where it took you. But I'm sure that it wasn't easy, and it's one of the it's one of the topics that I want us to explore together. It's really even for men, but I'm sure that for women it's even harder to feel that they appreciate their bodies when there's always a standard that's so high that it's so hard to get to, that it's really not easy to look in the mirror and be grateful for what you see.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious on how was your experience with this.
Yeah, it was tough because as a model, you're supposed to be, this imagery of what we consider perfect or close to perfect, and perfect doesn't exist. It doesn't matter if you look at someone and you think they're perfect, they most likely do not feel that way on the inside. We all have insecurities, we all have imperfections, but I think most of the time it's within our own self and we project it out to others. We think that everyone is looking at us. We think that everyone is paying attention to us. But in reality, we're just projecting our own thoughts onto what we think other people are thinking or saying about us. And so I think that was what took me a long time to understand is just because I wasn't right for that show or that producer or that season didn't mean that I was not perfect in my own way. Because what is perfect? There is no definition of what a perfect human is because it doesn't exist. And so for me, it was really going through years. I had probably 4 years after that, 3 or 4 years where I really, really struggled with my body image. I didn't like what I saw in the mirror because I was holding on to what someone else thought about me. So all I could see was I'm too short. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm never going to be a model like those other girls because I took what they told me and then I just started comparing myself to everyone else. And that is the toughest thing to go through, especially now with social media being so prevalent. And it's every day, it's in our faces every day. Beautiful people doing really cool, amazing things, living these lives that we feel like are perfect or unattainable. But in reality, we're just projecting. We're just saying what we think that they're living, what they're doing. We don't know what's actually going on behind someone else's, life, behind the curtain, behind their own, living space. And so we all have to figure out how to stop projecting if we ever want to really love ourselves. And for me, that was years and years and years of inner work because you have to learn to love yourself on such a deep level that that outside noise can be blocked out.
Exactly, exactly. And I remember it's really funny for me when I think about Instagram and what you see there. So, for instance, there are friends or colleagues that go on vacations and put all kinds of beautiful images from where they traveled. And when I look, oh my God, that must have been like a perfect vacation. When they come back and we meet and they tell me what actually happened and all of the challenges that they had, and all of the funny stories, and the things that actually happened there. It's such a different story. So what I'm thinking, even if I'm happy for them, like I'm thinking like, oh, it's so cool that they did this and that, and that they had this experience. And when they get back and they tell me the whole story, it's so different. But we don't know that, right? Like when we look on Instagram, we just, like you said, we just project. We just think, oh, that must have been a perfect vacation.
And it never is. You're never getting the full story. You're getting the cover of the book, and that's what they want you to see. We want the world to see the cover of our book, that perfect moment that, we were enjoying and loving and living, but that isn't chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, or the end of the story. That's just the cover photo.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
If you have a headache or feel tired constantly, clean air can be the solution. And in theory, if you want more clean air, you just open the windows, right? Well, not quite. Pollution in general and noise pollution in particular make it a much less desirable option for most of us. But here comes Air Doctor. Air Doctor helps us and our family enjoy cleaner air with fewer odors and better sleep. It uses a 3-stage filtration system that captures particles about 100 times smaller than what most air purifiers can handle. Stuff you definitely don't want floating around your home. We're talking dust, pollen, mold spores, pet dander, wildfire smoke, even bacteria, viruses, odors, ozone, and VOCs. All the invisible things you'd rather not be breathing in every day. And here's the best part. It's whisper quiet. You don't get that constant loud fan noise that so many air purifiers have, so you can sleep or work peacefully. Air Doctor also has an auto mode, which means it's constantly adjusting to keep air clean 24/7. You don't have to think about it. And when it's time to change the filter, it reminds you, so there's no guesswork. 98% of Air Doctor customers say their home's air feels cleaner, safer, and healthier. It's no surprise Air Doctor won Newsweek's Reader's Choice Award for Best Air Purifier. Head to airdoctor.com and use promo code GRATITUDE to get up to $300 off today. Air Doctor comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, plus a 3-year warranty. An $84 value free. Get this exclusive podcast-only offer now at airdoctor.com. That's airdoctorpro.com using promo code GRATITUDE. Exactly. And I'm wondering how did you go from comparing yourself with others? Because this is another thing that's related to gratitude. If we're always comparing ourselves, we will always find something better to compare ourselves with. Even if we are already beautiful and we know that we are beautiful, we look at other beautiful people and we say, okay, but I don't have that thing that the other person has. And this can go on, like, no matter how perfect we are on the outside, we can always find someone that has something that's a bit better, or at least we think it's better. So how can we stop this?
Well, and I think that can be true to any aspect of your life. Whether that is you think someone's prettier than you, or you think someone has a better career than you, or you think someone is further along on their health journey than you. When you're comparing yourself, you're taking away your own joy. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? So why do we want to take away our own joy? But it's really, really hard it's easy to say that, but it's hard to actually do the action every day and take those necessary steps to actually be grateful and actually live in abundance and actually believe what you're saying. So for me, I had to hit rock bottom. I had to hit my lowest point, and then I had two options. I could either stay there or I could get up. And I'm the kind of person that I was so tired of being the victim. I was so tired of sitting in my own misery. I was tired of making excuses for myself. This incident happened to me 3-4 years ago, and I was still holding on to something that person never thought about again. That's when it really hit me. I'm like, that person's life did not change at all when they sent that to me. My life changed for years off of that one sentence. And so when I had the opportunity to make that decision, I said, no more. I'm standing up. I'm getting on my own 2 feet. Will it be easy? Absolutely not. There is no secret ingredient or magic formula to just one day wake up and start loving yourself and believing that you're amazing. It doesn't happen like that. It happens over a slow, long period of time of taking steps, taking action every single day. Some days are going to be easier and some days are going to be harder, but you still have to take that necessary action every single day. And eventually it's going to get easier. And eventually you're going to feel better. And eventually your confidence is going to rise. And when your confidence rises, then you start to really believe in yourself, and you're not just talking anymore, but you're believing.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. I believe too that taking consistent action is what actually makes the difference, because life is long, actually, thankfully, because we tend to think in small increments, like it's okay 1 week and we do this one for 1 week or something and everything changes, but actually it's a long run, and we have to think about the fact that it is a long run, and it's important to do things a little bit better each day as much as possible, so that we will have a different kind of experience in the next few years. So what are some of the actions that you took that helped you to get to where you are right now?
I think it was incorporating health in all aspects of health: mental health, physical health, emotional health, spiritual health. I didn't even know what spirituality meant when I was 21 years old. I always equated spirituality to religion, and they're so different. But I didn't understand that until I found my own place in spirituality. And for me, that was finding who I was and what values I wanted to embody and what I could bring to this world. Who are you and what do you bring to this world and where do you fit in? Like, to me, that is spirituality on such a deeper level, because it's exactly what it means to you, not to someone else, not someone else's beliefs, but spirituality to you. And also taking care of your mental health. You need to set boundaries. If social media is something that is taking you down in life, you need to set boundaries on that. You need to put limitations around things that do not serve you and do not bring you joy. You can do this the same way I just said earlier, taking very, very small actions every single day. Over time, those little bitty tiny actions are going to add up to massive changes in your life. I also found fitness. And for me, That was not only a physical outlet, but a mental and emotional outlet for me. I loved it. I felt so good. I felt like I wasn't comparing myself to someone else's fitness journey. I was just showing up to make myself feel a little better every single day. And then emotional well-being, start cultivating a community around you. We're human beings. We're very emotional creatures and we need to connect. And so when we're connecting with the wrong people that don't serve us and we're living in a space in our life that doesn't serve us, we have to make small steps every single day to start cultivating new relationships, new communities, new environments that do serve us. We're changing, we are growing every single day, every single year. And with that, so will our needs, and so will our community, our relationships, our friends, all of the above.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And it's important what you just said, the fact that it's not just about one of them, but incorporating as many aspects as we can. We are complex beings, and we have emotional needs, we have physical needs, we have um, social needs, and when we're able to find ways to incorporate all of them in a healthy way in our life, we tend to have a different kind of reality, and we tend to have different things to be grateful for. By the way, what are some of the things that you are grateful for right now?
I love gratitude practice. If someone doesn't already have a gratitude practice, I'm obsessed with my daily 5-minute journal. I do 3 minutes in the morning and 3 minutes at night. So I do my gratitude practice every single day, and I'm grateful for so much. I'm grateful to be here on this podcast. I'm grateful for my business. I'm grateful for my boyfriend and my dog and my family and my home and the food on my table. There is so much to be grateful for. Even on the worst day, there's something to be grateful for.
Definitely, definitely. I think this is an important topic, an important thing to think about, that we can always find something to be grateful. And we often forget, because we are so busy doing the things that need to be done, that we forget the fact that we can take a moment, even right now, for our listeners. If you weren't able to do this today, just take this moment and think about something that you're grateful for, even if it's something as simple as this breath that you're taking. Because um, we, like I said, when we have a lot on our plate, we tend to forget about these simple things that actually remind us of the beauty of life and the beauty of this present moment that we are living right now. And yeah, I love what you just said, the fact that we always have something to be grateful for. And yeah, and you mentioned that you have a really important and a really deep practice of doing this every single day. When did you start doing this?
If you have a headache or feel tired constantly, clean air can be the solution. And in theory, if you want more clean air, you just open the windows, right? Well, not quite. Pollution in general and noise pollution in particular make it a much less desirable option for most of us. But here comes Air Doctor. Air Doctor helps us and our family enjoy cleaner air with fewer odors and better sleep. It uses a 3-stage filtration system that captures particles about 100 times smaller than what most air purifiers can handle. Stuff you definitely don't want floating around your home. We're talking dust, pollen, mold spores, pet dander, wildfire smoke, even bacteria, viruses, odors, ozone, and VOCs, all the invisible things you'd rather not be breathing in every day. And here's the best part, it's whisper quiet. You don't get that constant loud fan noise that so many air purifiers have, so you can sleep or work peacefully. Air Doctor also has an auto mode, which means it's constantly adjusting to keep air clean 24/7. You don't have to think about it. And when it's time to change the filter, it reminds you so there's no guesswork. 98% of Air Doctor customers say their home's air feels cleaner, safer, and healthier. It's no surprise Air Doctor won Newsweek's Reader's Choice Award for Best Air Purifier. Head to airdoctor.com and use promo code GRATITUDE to get up to $300 off today. Air Doctor comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, plus a 3-year warranty, an $84 value free. Get this exclusive podcast-only offer now at airdoctor.com. That's airdoctorpro.com using promo code GRATITUDE.
I started doing gratitude journals 2 years ago because I actually never thought I would be a journal person. I didn't like the concept of free writing to me. It gave me a little bit of anxiety and stress because when I'm first waking in the morning and then right before I go to bed is when I want to journal, but sometimes I don't want to put a lot of like extra thought into just a blank piece of paper. So if anyone listening is like me and you're considering a journal practice, but you don't want to just stare at a blank piece of paper, there are so many options these days. I personally use the daily 5-minute journal because it breaks down your morning and your evening into pre-written categories, and then you just fill it out. So to me, it takes that extra layer of thought that sometimes I don't want to have. And when we're first integrating new habits, we want to make them really, really simple. Because when we make things difficult, we burn ourselves out on them or we give up on them after a short period of time. But if you just make it really simple and you make it a priority and you show up for it, then it's going to become a habit. And now these 2 years that I've been journaling have flown by, and I almost, if I miss a day, it feels weird. It feels like something's missing. I'm like, I haven't written down what I'm grateful for or what I'm excited about or how my day went, and it feels not normal. It throws my routine off a little bit. So it definitely becomes a habit, and it's a habit that I think everybody should absolutely instill into their lives in some format.
Definitely. And I love the fact that you mentioned this idea about habits. I think it's important to notice, if we haven't already, if we're not aware already, that we have all kinds of habits. Whether we are aware of it or not, we tend to do some things habitually.
Yeah.
And it's not always easy to start new habits or to improve on the habits that we already have, but they, like you mentioned, they when we don't do them, we feel like something's missing.
Yeah.
And there are all kinds of habits that we already have that unfortunately aren't that positive, that we feel the same way about, but we can cultivate these kinds of positive habits as well that actually take us to where we want to go emotionally or mentally, and even physically, one way or another. So, because it's scientifically proven that, for instance, people that practice gratitude are find it easier to also exercise. So, yeah, it's all related, and
Yep.
it's also related to appreciating our body and the way we feel. Like for me, beauty has a lot to do with how we feel on the inside and how healthy we are. And when we have healthy habits,
Yep.
we tend to feel more beautiful, right?
Yeah. I like to teach my clients what I call the 66-day minimum. I think most people think of a habit as being something they can quickly get rid of, a bad habit, or quickly instill a new habit, but it's not that simple. If you've been doing things for a majority of your life for years or your whole life, that habit is ingrained into how you live. So I teach my clients the 66-day minimum. It means that the first 22 days of putting in a new habit is basically just deleting that old habit that you have. Because whether you consider it a habit or not, you have a habit. a habit of doing something, good or bad. And then it takes another 22 days to start implementing that new habit now that the old habit is deleted. And then it takes another 22 days to make it a natural habit. Like when you tie your shoe or when you ride a bike, you get on and you naturally do it. You don't have to think about it. You just do it. So I tell my clients, you have whatever you're instilling, you have to give it 66 days to even have a chance at making it.
Wow. I love this idea. I actually never thought about this fact that it's actually not that easy in many situations, especially when we have habits that are really, really long,
Yeah.
that have been a long time with us. We actually identify with them at some point. I think that's fascinating. It's like, okay, this is just the kind of person that I am. For instance, I don't like to wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
I think that can change. That's my opinion. But yeah, there are a lot of habits that we have, and we just identify ourselves as being a certain kind of person that does a certain kind of thing. And you, in some ways, they are positive. We identify ourselves as a gratitude seeker, for instance. It's a good thing because we focus on things that we're grateful for, and we seek things that we're grateful for. But if we identify ourselves as the habit that we have that's not a positive one, I think, yeah, that needs a little bit of work. So okay, you mentioned the fact that we need to take some time to do this, but how can we overcome these negative habits? What do we do in those days?
I think, like we're talking about, I think gratitude has a lot to do with it. When I work with my clients, when they join my program, the first 3 to 4 weeks, I am simply teaching them how to be grateful, how to have a positive mindset, how to build their confidence, how to believe in their self and stop having so much negative self-talk. Because all of these things are the foundation to creating a healthier and happier life. If we aren't grateful, if we don't feel confident, we don't love ourselves, and we don't have that solid foundation built, weeks and weeks and weeks of building this foundation, then there's no point in going into a health journey or a new practice, because you need that foundation. Just like when you build a house, if your foundation is shaky, if your beliefs are shaky, then it's not going to last. No matter how hard you work, something will come up that will cause self-doubt, or your confidence will shift. Something will happen and you won't have the tools necessary to get back on the right path. But if we focus solely on gratitude, confidence, mindset, all of these things that will build that strong foundation, if we focus on that first before we start trying to habit stack or create these lasting habits, we have a much higher chance of success because our foundation is strong and we now have tools in our tool belt to help us on those hard days.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what I was thinking about. Uh, okay, at first you have enthusiasm for creating a new kind of lifestyle, and it keeps you for a while. That enthusiasm, it gets you going, and it keeps you focused for a while. But then there are always things that are happening, like life happens, and all kinds of things come into play, and we tend to forget about those positive habits, those things that we want or wanted to put in place. So you say that we should build this foundation so that we will be able to continue with these kinds of positive habits that we want to change in our life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can't build a house without a strong foundation. It's very, very important. And also, another thing that I work with my clients on is creating a life and routines and things that you actually love. You don't have to do something just because someone else says that it's good for you or it's healthy or you should do it. That doesn't have to be how you do things. You can do things that bring you joy, that make you happy. You've probably just never sat down and really gotten real with yourself and asked, what does make me happy? What could I implement that's going to lead me down a healthier and happier path, but that I truly enjoy? There's going to be things that you absolutely enjoy doing. I would never make my client do something they don't love doing. That's counterintuitive because I want you to be healthy and happy for the rest of your life, not for a week, not for a month, not for a year, the rest of your life. So you need to learn to implement things that make you truly happy. There's so many versions of working out and moving your body. There's so many versions of eating healthier. There's so many versions of gratitude and mindset. So find the version that fits you and your interests and your life best.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. And I was thinking about all the kinds, all the types of gratitude practices. And for instance, for people that are more visual, in my view, you can draw your gratitude. Like you can draw something that means something to you, that makes you feel grateful. You don't have to write if it's not your thing. You can, like I said, you can draw, you can play with it. And but yeah, I think many times when we think about making a change in our life, we tend to think about all of the hurdles, or all of the things that will make that change hard for us,
Yeah.
instead of thinking, okay, we there might be a solution, there might be a way that works for me.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for us to realize that there might be a way of doing things that works for us, even if it's quite different from what we are hearing or we are seeing, or um, we we were taught that it should look like, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. It does not, your journey and someone else's journey is not supposed to look the same. You're unique. Your perspective is unique. Your genetics are unique. Everything about you is unique. So, why in the world would you want to have a journey that looks just like someone else's when that person's journey is completely unique to their own life? It's just, it doesn't make sense. And so that's why I teach holistic health and bio individuality and multidimensional health, because we are bio individual humans. Every single one of us, not a single person on this planet is identical in any way, shape, or form. So why would you want to create a life that's identical to someone else's? Your health, multidimensional. There are so many dimensions of your health that are unique to you. Again, why would you want to create a health journey that looks like someone else's?
Exactly. And one of the things that um, I think people that are in health that are really good at this do is um, they ask people about their habits. Because, for instance, okay, you might go to the doctor and you'll say, okay, my belly hurts, and he will give you a prescription of some sort.
Yeah.
If that's the whole thing that happens after, of course, doing a type of consultation, I think this is just treating the symptom, just treating the surface of the situation.
Yeah.
But in many situations, for instance, with the spine, with different kinds of problems that have to do with the spine, it's about the habits, the things that we do each day that leads to a certain situation. And even if we do some things that will help us, if we continue, for instance, if you are 8 hours per day working in an office, and the chair itself that we're using isn't great for our spine, we're still going to have that problem.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why I totally agree with you. It's about that particular person's situation, what they're actually doing each day that might cause different kinds of issues, that might cause different kinds of disorders. We tend to be a result of what we do in many ways, and how we think, of course, and the emotions that we experience, because this is another level that we need to address, what kind of emotions we experience, and based on that we can really have a bigger perspective on where that person is, and uh, yeah, actually treat the root cause. And
Yes.
I think that's a really important way of seeing the person that you're working with, right?
Yeah, and I think that's why I love being a holistic health coach, because we are bridging that gap. As a health coach, we are bridging the gap of people at home and doctors' offices. Like you just said, you go to the doctor's office when something is wrong. They give you medication and it maybe makes you feel better, maybe for a short period of time, maybe for a long period of time. But that medication is also going to have side effects, short term, long term, all of the above. And if you don't make changes, take action, create new habits, you're just going to be in a cycle of going back and forth to the doctor's office because your problem isn't going away. It may even be worsening because you're not changing anything. And that's where me and every other holistic health coach on this planet come in, is to be that at-home guide for you, to hold your hand, hold you accountable, help you to understand the information that the doctor is giving you, because they hand you this pamphlet or they tell you in, these big huge words that you don't understand what they think is wrong with you, and then you go home very confused, very unsure what to do next, and honestly just medicating yourself to get by. And that is no way to live life. So, as a health coach, I'm there to help you overcome all of the hurdles that will come your way if you do want to make real change, if you are ready to take action, if you do want to feel better overall for the rest of your life.
Exactly. It's not easy to understand this, or to um, really assume this, but it's our responsibility one way or another, whether we have things that we've inherited one in a way or another, or we do things in a certain way that lead to a certain situation that we experience. But the beautiful part about taking responsibility is that we have the ability to respond. We know that we can do something about it, even if it's really hard to say, okay, probably I'm not doing something right, and thankfully there are solutions. Then there are things that I can do to make this better. So yeah, I think this is an empowering thing, and it's important for us to take responsibility, and if we want to have a better life, to change those habits that make our life less than it could be. So we are nearing the end of our time together, and I wanted to ask you, Caitlin, where our audience can find you, where can they get in touch with you?
Yes, absolutely. You can find me on social media on all platforms at Caitlyn Shea Spears. And then my website is just CaitlinSpears.com.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much for being here with us, for sharing your story, and for sharing your gratitude and your wisdom. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, Gratitude Seeker, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this interview. I really appreciate it. And if you could think of one person that would also benefit from it, share it with them. It might actually be the inspiration that they need to make their day or maybe even their life much better. Thank you so much once again. This has been Georgian Benta. Don't forget to keep seeking and spreading gratitude.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.